She ran from the palace, gold and wealth, into the arms of a man who had nothing but a smile and a song. But what she didn't know was that sometimes poverty hides a darker greed than riches ever could. Long ago in the rich and thriving land of Ogudu, where palm trees swayed with pride and the markets danced with song and spice, lived a princess named Idera. She was beautiful, not just in the face, but in the way she moved, the way she laughed, and the way she cared. But her beauty became her burden, because she was promised to a man who could buy anything but her heart. His name, Oba Arogun, the war king of Iwoke, older than her father, richer than 5 kingdoms combined, feared by all, but not loved, at least not by Idera, because her heart belonged to Aremo. Aremo was no prince. He had no gold, no land, not even sandals on his feet, but he had the song. He played his cracked calabash flute by the stream every morning, and when Idera heard it, her soul floated. They would meet in secret at the edge of the village, near the old fig tree, and talked about dreams, freedom, and love. Sometimes they spoke of the moon's reflection on the water, of the laughter of children, of the taste of ripe mangoes stolen from the kids' orchard. Aremo would tell stories of his late mother, a healer who taught him the names of every plant, and Idera would listen, her eyes wide with wonder. But every meeting was a risk. The king's guards patrolled the village, and the penalty for forbidding love was exile, or worse. One night, as the royal drums beat to announce her wedding day, she made a choice. She ran. She fled the palace walls in the wild, dark forest with only a bundle of clothes and a tiny pouch of cowries tied inside her wrapper. Aremo was waiting, his heart pounding with fear and hope. Together, they built a small mud hut at the forest's edge. They planted cassava and yam, fetched water from the stream, and learned to live with the forest secrets: how to avoid the snakes, how to listen for the leopard's growl, how to mend the roof before the rains. At night, Aremo would play his flute and Idera would dance, her laughter echoing through the trees. She believed she had made the right choice, but the forest hears things the heart refuses to see. Seasons changed, the yams grew tall, but the harvest was meager. Idera learned to pound fufu, to smoke fish over the fire, to soothe Aremo's worries with gentle words. But little by little, Aremo changed. He no longer woke with the sun, no longer touched the soil, no longer played his flute. He started going to the village market every day, not to sell, not to buy, but to gamble. The cowries disappeared one by one until the pouch was empty. Idera noticed. She tried to speak to him, but he brushed her off. She hoped he would return to the man she loved, but love is blind until it is bruised. Strange things began to happen. At night, Idera heard voices in the wind, ancient spirits warning her to open her eyes. She dreamed of her mother who whispered, "Daughter, the heart sees what the eyes deny." One morning, the village women came to fetch water. They found Idera alone, her eyes swollen from crying. They shared their own stories of love, loss, and betrayal. They told her of a wise woman, Mama Shade, who lived deep in the forest and could see into the soul. Desperate for answers, Idera visited Mama Shade. The old woman gazed into her eyes and said, "Child, you ran from a cage, but you built another. Only you can open the door." One day, Idera followed Aremo to the market square. There he was, holding another woman in public, both of them touching and giggling, shopping for her. The coins he used? Hers. The cowries she had brought when she left her crown behind. She stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "Aremo, why?" And his answer? Cruel. "You think I loved you? I loved your name, your beauty, but most of all, I loved what you gave me, freedom. He raised his hands to strike her, but before he could land, a voice boomed through the market. Enough! It was her father, Obagbalasa. He had come not in anger, but in regret. He had heard whispers, sent spies, watched from the shadows, and when he saw his daughter, dirty, crying, betrayed, he knew he had failed her. The king did not yell. He did not draw his sword. He simply said, "Take her home." The guards dragged Aremo out of the village that night. No one knows where he went. Some say he roams the forests. Others say he returned to the woman in the market. But Idera, she didn't go back to the palace. She chose a small house by the school compound, planted her own garden, and every morning she taught girls how to read, how to plant, and how to know the difference between love and illusion. Idera's days were filled with purpose. She taught the children songs and stories, showed them how to plant seeds and watch them grow. She became a mentor to young women, helping them find their voices and their strength. She visited Mama Shade often, learning the secrets of herbs and healing. She helped women in childbirth, nursed the sick, and comforted the lonely. The villagers began to respect her, not as a princess, but as a wise woman. She found peace in her new life, but sometimes at night, she would sit by her window and listen to the wind, remembering the girl she once was. Years passed. One rainy season, a stranger arrived in Ogudu, thin, raggedy, haunted by regret. It was Aremo. He came to Idera's door, begging for forgiveness. He told her of his wandering, his losses, his shame. He asked for a second chance. Idera listened, her heart heavy. She forgave him, but she did not invite him in. She had learned that forgiveness does not mean forgetting, and love does not mean returning to pain. Aremo left the village, and Idera's heart grew lighter. Each year, Ogudu held a festival to celebrate new beginnings. Idera was chosen to lead the procession, her head held high, her heart full of hope. She spoke to the crowd. True worth lies not in what you flee from, but in what you become after the fall. Let us teach our daughters to seek respect, not just love, to build, not just to dream. The girls of Ogudu grew into queens, not because of who they married, but because of who they became. Idera became more than a princess. She became a woman of wisdom, a builder, a healer, a protector of dreams. She never wore a crown again, but she wore respect. So you see, not every poor man is a good man, and not every rich man is a bad one. The heart must see with more than eyes, because betrayal wears many faces. And love, true love, is not what you're giving, it's what you grow with. If this story moved you, leave a comment, share with a sister, and remember, at AfricanFolktales, every story has a reason. Until next time, stay wise, stay bold, and stay you.